Good morning everyone. Today I am going to start a new chapter, that is chapter number 14, biomolecules. Let us start. A living system grows, sustain and reproduce itself. All the living system have a capacity to grow itself, to reproduce itself. But the most amazing fact about the living system is that it is composed of the non-living atoms and the molecules. So this category comes under the heading biochemistry. Biomolecules are the organic compounds. All the biomolecules are the organic compounds present as essential constituent of the living organism in the different cells. They contain carbon and hydrogen as their essential constituent or essential compound, along with the few more elements. The common organic substance which act as a biomolecule are, first one is the carbohydrate, protein, amino acids, nucleic acid, lipids, enzymes, vitamins, and the most important, that is called hormones. So these are the biomolecule which are present inside our body. So in this topic, our first heading is carbohydrates. We all know very well that carbohydrates are the energy giving food. Carbohydrate give us energy. So carbohydrate are the naturally occurring organic compound and the major source, and they are the major source of energy to our body. In plants, carbohydrates are formed as a result of a process which is known as the photosynthesis. Carbohydrates are also synthesized in plant as a result of the process of photosynthesis. In case of the animal system, the carbohydrate undergo decomposition to form carbon dioxide and water, accompanied by the release of energy. In animal system, when the carbohydrate decomposes, it gives us carbon dioxide, it gives us water with the liberation of the energy which is needed for our body. Glucose and starch. There are two major components. One is the glucose and another one is the starch. So glucose and starch are the major source of energy to living system. The formula for the glucose is C6H12O6. This is the formula of the glucose, and the formula for the starch is C12H22O11. This is the formula. Sorry, this is not starch. This is sucrose. So the formula for the sucrose is C12H22O11. Now the next heading is classification of carbohydrate. So carbohydrate are quite often known as saccharide. Carbohydrates are also called as the saccharides. It comes from the Latin word. This is the Latin word. Saccharide name is extracted from the Latin word which is saccharum. This is saccharum, which means sugar. Saccharide is extracted from the Latin word saccharum, which means sugar. So there are various ways to classify the carbohydrates. We have the lots of ways by which we can classify the carbohydrate. The first and the important way by which we classify the carbohydrate is, it is based on classification based on molecular size. This is the first way of classification of carbohydrate, classification based on molecular size. On the basis of the molecular size, carbohydrates are classified into three categories. The first one is monosaccharide. This is the first category, monosaccharide. The second category is oligosaccharide, and the third one is polysaccharide. Let us discuss one by one. So first one is the monosaccharide, the simplest carbohydrate. This is a type of a simplest carbohydrate which cannot be hydrolyzed into smaller product. This is the simplest type of a carbohydrate which cannot be hydrolyzed into a smaller product. So such type of the saccharides or carbohydrates are known as the monosaccharides, and the example of the monosaccharides are, there are various example of monosaccharide. So the first and the most important is glucose, second one is fructose, and third one is ribose. So these three are the example of the monosaccharide, and there are etc. Means there are various other exercises, but in this chapter we have only studied about the glucose and the fructose. Now the next type of the carbohydrate which is based on the molecular size, it is known as the oligosaccharide. Oligosaccharides. This is the second type of the carbohydrate. So the carbohydrate which forms 2 to 10, the carbohydrates which form 2 to 10 molecule of monosaccharide upon hydrolysis are known as the oligosaccharide. The saccharides which decomposes into or which form 2 to 10 molecule of monosaccharide upon hydrolysis are known as the oligosaccharides. They are further classified, the oligosaccharides are further classified as there are subcategory of the oligosaccharide. The first one is disaccharide, next is trisaccharide, and third one is tetrasaccharide. So these are the subcategory of the oligosaccharide. Now the next and the third type of the carbohydrate, classification of carbohydrate, it is known as the polysaccharide. This is called polysaccharide. So these are the carbohydrate which give large number of monosaccharide upon hydrolysis are known as the polysaccharides. So there are various examples of the polysaccharides, but the main example are starch, cellulose, glycogen and gum, and etc. means there are various other examples. So these are not sweet in taste. Polysaccharides are not sweet in taste, hence they are also known as the non-sugars. They are also called non-sugar because they are not sweet in taste. The carbohydrates may also be classified as either the reducing or the non-reducing sugar. So all those carbohydrate which reduces Fehling solution and Tollens reagent. We have already discussed about the Fehling solution and the Tollens reagent. They are regarded as the reducing sugar, which Fehling and Tollens. Now the next one is the non-reducing sugars. So the meaning of the non-reducing sugars are all the carbohydrate which does not reduce the Fehling solution and the Tollens reagent. They are regarded as the non-reducing sugars. In disaccharides, if the reducing group of monosaccharide, and the reducing group of monosaccharide are either the aldehydic group or the ketonic group are bonded, these are non-reducing sugars. And the example of the non-reducing sugar is the sucrose. And on the other hand, sugar in which these functional group means either the aldehydic group or the ketonic group are free, when they are not bonded, at that time they are regarded as the reducing sugar. And the example for the reducing sugar is that is the maltose and the that is lactose. So maltose and the lactose are the example of the reducing sugar, whereas the sucrose is the example of the non-reducing sugar. So you can easily distinguish between the reducing and the non-reducing sugar on the basis of the group attached to them. Either the group is bonded or either the group is free. And the groups, the name of the group are, that is the aldehydic group or the ketonic group. Now let us discuss the topic one by one. So the first topic is the monosaccharides. We have already discussed about the monosaccharide. Now the monosaccharides are further classified on the basis of the number of carbon atom and the functional group present in them. The number of the carbon atom as well as the type of the functional group present with them or with the monosaccharide. If the monosaccharide contain the aldehyde group, if the aldehyde group is present in the monosaccharide, it is known as the aldose. And if the ketonic group or the ketone group is present with the monosaccharide, it is known as the ketose. So if there is a presence of aldehyde, it is known as the aldose, and if there is a presence of the ketone or the keto group, so it is known as the ketose, or it is also called the keto. This one is the keto. So the number of carbon atom constituting the monosaccharide is also introduced in the name as given, as I have given one example. If it is a triose. Now triose means 3 carbon atom are present. So if the aldehyde group is present, so its name is aldotriose. And if the ketonic group is present, keto group is present, it is known as the ketotriose. So this is the basic difference between the functional group, the type of the functional group. One is the aldose and second one is the keto. Now the next topic is the preparation. Now under the monosaccharide, the first type of the monosaccharide is called the glucose. So glucose is the type of the monosaccharide. The formula of the glucose is C6H12O6. It represents the glucose. So glucose occur freely in nature. This glucose occur freely in nature as well as in the combined form. It is present in a free state or free form, or as well as in the combined form. It is present, mostly the glucose is all the sweet fruits contain the glucose, as well as the honey. Honey is the best example for the glucose. So all the sweet fruit and the honey contain the glucose. The ripe grapes also contain the glucose in the large amount. That's why it is a very juicy. Ripened grape is a very juicy, and it contains the maximum quantity of the glucose. So now the next topic under the heading glucose is the preparation. So there are various methods for the preparation of glucose. So let us discuss one by one the types of the methods. The first method for the preparation of the glucose is from sucrose, and this sucrose is also known as the cane sugar. So if the sucrose, the formula for the sucrose is C12H22O11. This is the formula for the sucrose. So when the sucrose is boiled with dilute hydrochloric acid or with the sulfuric acid in alcoholic solution, we get glucose and fructose as a product, and these glucose and fructose we get are in a equal amount. So this is the sucrose, that is C12H22O11. When it is boiled with acid, either this is a dilute hydrochloric acid or this one is the sulfuric acid, we get C6H12O6. This is the glucose, and C6H12O6, this is the fructose. So both the glucose and the fructose are present in the equal amount. Both glucose and fructose have the same formula, only there is a difference in the linkage, which I have told you later. I will tell you later. So now the next type of the preparation is, that is from starch. The preparation of glucose is from the starch. So commercially, glucose is obtained by the hydrolysis of the starch by boiling it with dilute sulfuric acid at the temperature of 393 Kelvin under pressure. Now the formula for the starch is, that is C6H10O5 whole N. Here the N represent that it is a polymer, it is a long chain. When it is boiled, with water, or it is hydrolyzed. It is hydrolyzed in presence of, here the H represent the acid at the temperature of 393 Kelvin. Here 393 Kelvin is the temperature and 2 to 3 atmosphere is the pressure. So by this method we get the glucose, that is NC6H12O6. This is the glucose. So this is the second method by which we get the glucose. First is from the sucrose and the second is from the starch, and this is also the formula of the cellulose. Starch or the cellulose. This is starch, or this one is also known as the cellulose. Now under this, the second heading is the structure. Now this is the, here we have discussed about the structure of the glucose. So the glucose is an aldohexose. Glucose is the aldohexose. It is also known as dextrose. glucose is the aldohexose and it is also known as the dextrose. It is the monomer of many large carbohydrates such as the starch and the cellulose. The structure for the glucose is, that is CHO, CHOH here whole 4, and this one is CH2OH. This is the structure of the glucose. But the glucose was assigned this type of a structure on the basis of the various evidence. For that, behind this structure there are various evidences. Let us discuss the evidences one by one. The first evidence is its molecular formula is C6H12O6. This is the first evidence. Its molecular formula is C6H12O6. That's why the structure of glucose is like this, because 1, 2, 3, this one is the 4, 5 and 6. This is the C6, H is the 12. This one, now count the number of the hydrogen and also count the number of the oxygen. This one is the 4, this is the oxygen is 4, this one is the 5 and this one is the 6. So its molecular formula is C6H12O6. This is the first evidence behind this structure. Now the second evidence behind this structure is that on prolonged heating with hydrogen iodide, when we heat the glucose with the hydrogen iodide and the red phosphorus, so it gives hexane, N-hexane. N means a normal chain of the hexane. It gives the N-hexane. The formation or the product N-hexane suggests that all the 6 carbon atoms, these 6 carbon atoms present in the glucose are linked with each other with the help of the straight chain. So that is this evidence. We can also, for this evidence we can also represent a reaction, that is CHO, here CHOH whole 4 and at last CH2OH. So when we heat this one, this is the symbol for the heating, with the hydrogen iodide or in presence of the red phosphorus, we get CH3, CH2, 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 CH2 and CH3. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is the N-hexane. So the formation of the N-hexane shows that all the carbon atom in the glucose are linked with the help of the straight chain. This is the second evidence behind this structure. Now the next evidence is when the glucose is react with hydroxylamine, we get oxime. When the glucose react with hydroxylamine, we get oxime. This is the next evidence. So for the glucose is, that is CH2OH, CHOH whole 4, CHO. This is the formula of the glucose. This is this structure of the glucose. When it react with hydroxylamine, so the formula of the hydroxylamine is NH2OH. NH2OH is the hydroxylamine. We get oxime. Here the oxime is glucose oxime. So the formula of the glucose oxime is CH2OH. This one is the same, CH2OH. Now CHOH whole 4. This one is also same. Now C N double bond. Sorry, this is the CH. This is not CN. This is the CH double bond. This one is NOH. This is glucose oxime. This is glucose oxime. Now this one, or this one part is eliminated in the form of H2O. O is from here and 2H are from here. So this one is the H2O. So this one is the third evidence for this structure. Now the next evidence is when the glucose is react with hydrogen cyanide. Glucose is react with hydrogen cyanide. We get cyanohydrins, and for that the reaction is CHO, CHOH whole 4 and here CH2OH. This is the formula of for the glucose. So when it react with hydrogen cyanide, which is HCN, so we get, this one is the CH. Now CHOH whole 4 is same. Again CH2OH is also same. Now here CN group is attached, this one group is attached here, and one oxygen is left here and one hydrogen is left here. So we get OH. So this is the cyanohydrin. So when the glucose is react with hydrogen cyanide, we get the cyanohydrin. So this is the another evidence for the structure of the glucose. Now the next evidence is with the mild oxidizing agent like bromine water, glucose is oxidized. When it come in contact with the oxidizing agent, it is oxidized and it gives gluconic acid, which is a monocarboxylic acid. Gluconic acid is a monocarboxylic acid with the 6 carbon atom. It is the another evidence. So CHO, CHOH whole 4 and CH2OH. Now when the glucose react with bromine water, now this is the what happened here. Oxidation take place. This is a type of oxidation reaction. So it oxidizes. This one is oxidizes and we get COOH, CHOH whole 4 and CH2OH. This is C and it is a gluconic acid. This one is a gluconic acid. We have already discussed that gluconic acid is a monocarboxylic acid. The meaning of the monocarboxylic acid is only one carboxylic group is present and it contains the 6 carbon atom, 4 plus 5 plus 1. This one is the 6. This one is the 4. 4. So 4 carbon are here, 5 and 6. So this is the another evidence. And here one more evidence is here. When the glucose is oxidized, this is another type of example where the oxidation takes place. So when the glucose is oxidized with the strong oxidizing agent, this here the bromine is a mild oxidizing agent, but what happen when the glucose is come in contact with the strong oxidizing agent, for example with the concentrated nitric acid, we get a dicarboxylic acid. Dicarboxylic acid means where the 2 carboxylic group are present and it is known as the saccharic acid. And for that the reaction is, for the saccharic acid we have CHO, here CHOH whole 4 and CH2OH. When this one is the glucose is oxidized with the nitric acid, so we get dicarboxylic acid as a result, and that dicarboxylic acid is, this is COOH, here CHOH whole 4 and COOH. This is the dicarboxylic acid. 2 carboxylic group are present here and this dicarboxylic acid is known as the saccharic acid. This is the 6th evidence for the structure of the glucose. Now there is one more evidence. It's the last evidence for the structure of the glucose, and it is known as the acetylation of the glucose. So the acetylation of glucose with the acetic anhydride. Glucose when treated with the acetic anhydride gives glucose pentaacetate. Glucose pentaacetate, which confirms the presence of 5-OH group. Which confirm the presence of 5-OH group. Since it exists as a stable compound, so the 5-OH group should be attached to the different carbon atom. Here the 5-OH group are attached with the different carbon atom. So for that, for the acetylation of the glucose, the reaction is CHO, CHOH whole 4 and CH2OH. This one is the glucose. When it is react with acetic anhydride, that is 5 CH3CO whole 2O. This is the acetic anhydride, and this reaction take place in presence of ZnCl2. And when we heat the mixture, that mixture contain the glucose as well as the acetic anhydride, we get the result as a glucose pentaacetate, which is that is CHO, this is CO, CH3 whole 4, and here CH2O, CO, CH3. This is glucose pentaacetate. Pentaacetate means 5 acetate group are present here. So 4 COCH3 4, and this one COCH3 4 plus 1 is 5. So this is the glucose pentaacetate plus 5 CH3COOH. So these are the evidences behind the structure of the glucose.